Welcome everybody to our BNI Talks webinar. My name is Steve Tenuzzo, your host, and today I've got Sandra Costello, and she is a pro photographer who I met at a BNI Visitor Day, and we got to talking, and one of the things that came up was, you know how old my headshot is? I don't even know. It's so old. I look at it, I'm like, that's not me, that's my son. Yeah, no. I really need a headshot and other photos done. I'm in the middle of redoing my website. So I'm going to work with Sandra to get some new photos. And it just got us to talking about photography is used so much differently now than it used to be. Back in the day when it was just all you needed was a headshot and you were good to go. But because of social media and the way websites work now, lots of photos in different outfits and different expressions, and some are candid, some are posed, all important. So I'm going to let Sandra take over right now and tell us all about those 5 reasons why bad photos are losing you business.
All right, so let me pull up my presentation here.
All right, there you go.
All right, super. I'm really excited to be here and to see all of you. I am thrilled that Steve and BNI said yes to this topic. And I've called it 5 reasons bad photos are losing you business. But what it really is called is why you need more than a headshot. And we're going to talk about why photography, good photography, is really helpful for your business. So we'll move on through our presentation. All right, first off, I'm Sandra Costello. I am a portrait and personal branding photographer. I'm located on Cape Cod, but I photograph all through New England. I love brave moments, celebrating every win and revealing your essence during your shoot. I'm committed to creating an environment that is fun, empowering, and inclusive. And you can find me at sandralovesyou.com or on social at Sandra Costello Photography. So I hope you'll look me up. I hope you'll friend me. This is one of the best ways that I like to use social media. Otherwise, it's not always my friend. Okay, so I'm going to tell you a little bit about the 5 areas that we're going to cover today. The first is the know, like, and trust factor. And as a BNI member, you totally know what that means. Second, we're going to talk about findability and what that means. Third, virtual presence. Fourth, virtual storytelling. And lastly, credibility and quality and what that means and why it's important for photographs. All right. And as I go through, you'll see a number of images that I've put in place that are either from headshot sessions or from branding shoots. All right, so let's talk about know, like, and trust. You make an impression. Would you trust your haircut, your health, or home repairs to just anyone? Of course not. You want to make sure that the person that you bring in is someone that you trust and someone that you like. But I think we all know, especially if you've been in BNI for many years, that know, like, and trust factor does not just happen overnight. And that is absolutely true with photographs as well. It's why people come to me for personal branding shoots. They want a collection of images that they can sprinkle throughout their social media, their website, wherever. It's similar to seeing a logo. If you saw Coca-Cola logo in bright pink, it wouldn't make sense anymore. You know it to look a certain way. It feels familiar to you. And so you can trust it, especially if you love Coke. I'm a Pepsi drinker, but you know, we won't go there. Yes. So I want to find out from the group, and I hope that you'll put this in the chat. When was the last time you updated your headshot? And when I say, like, I'm looking to know if it's been in the last 2 to 5 years, If it's been longer, we'll need to talk. Let's see, 3 years, few years, 2010, Birdie, we need to talk. I love this. Yep. Never, Amber. Okay, this is good. I think it's really, really important to have your headshots updated because it shows you where you are right now. And when people see those current photographs, they can make a true connection to you. All right, good. Thank you guys for checking in on that. I also think that when you're, when you've got a current headshot and you're doing a lot of in-person marketing, it just means that people can recognize you. And if your photo is from 15 or 20 years ago, you're in trouble. So I want to tell you quickly about some of my clients who have used their photos in a number of ways. I've got a couple of folks on here who are pros at using things like Canva. And what they've done is they've taken their collection of images and they have sprinkled it everywhere. They've made graphics. They use it for social media, podcast guesting, a speaker sheet, their website, the list goes on, and I can tell you more about that. But the beauty of having images that are quality images is that not only are you ready for opportunities, but you're ready to make your own. And it strengthens your brand. Dr. Jolie Hamilton, who's on this list here, she took her branding shoot images and she started doing podcast guesting. And I was blown away by how often she used those images. And after a short amount of time, people knew who she was.
Yeah, Sandra, I will tell you, I have seen if someone has a new photo up on LinkedIn on their profile, I'm gonna not just notice that, but I'm gonna click on the profile to see what else has been updated. A lot of times people update everything. So it's just another way of getting people to look at what you've got going on online.
Yeah, I love that. It is like, when they talk about Google and they talk about your Google page and how you need to update that like often because all of a sudden they take notice. It's the same with changing out your photograph. I love that example, Steve. That's great. So let's talk about findability and know exactly what that means because the web is really a cluttered place. Did you know that quality images help your SEO? What does that mean? Well, I'm going to tell you a little bit about a study that was done a number of years ago that I think is really kind of amazing. So I'm going to do a little reading here, but a project for Canon, they hired a creative agency to do a little research. And so this agency out of Copenhagen hired all of these social media influencers who went and took over 300,000 photographs of high quality images of businesses in Copenhagen. And then they put all of these images on Google's local guides. And what happened was really kind of amazing. Because of the quality of the images, half of the businesses, their sales increased. So as a result, Google has changed their algorithm to search out those high quality images, and it will just bring you a little bit higher up. But I think the other thing to keep in mind is that when you have, higher quality images, people are going to pay attention to that. They're going to be interested and they're going to stay longer, whether it's on your website or social media. I'm going to talk a little bit about the folks who are in these photographs. And I'm going to start with the woman in the bottom right-hand corner. Her name is Judy Harrington, and she is a fellow BNI member. She's an author, and she's also a copywriter. And she said to me, people tell me that they feel like they know me from my photographs. And so that when we have our one-on-one, it feels like a match. They know what they're getting into. She also says, good brand photography makes you look good. Great brand photography shows people who you are. I want to talk a little bit about the woman in the black beanie hat and the boots. So she is a personal trainer, and she is not like all personal trainers. She did not want her photographs in spandex and sneakers. She's a little bit of a badass, and this image really works well for her. She has told me over time that when she is looking to really attract her ideal client, she will bring up this photo or a variation of this because it brings new clients in, old clients in. They pay attention because they like her vibe, they like what she's talking about, and they can make a true, authentic connection to her. And I think that's part of what Judy is saying too in her really playful images. Linda, who is in the top image, she is a floral artist, and she said to me, good photography is imperative. She said, it's like paying your taxes. You just have to do it. I thought that was kind of fun. I'm curious if folks have an image that they like to share that is a conversation starter. Is there something different about it? I'd love to know if in the chat you can paint us a picture, raise your hand. I think a lot of my clients who come to me want something that feels like them, but also feels a little bit different. So the last thing I'm going to just comment on is LinkedIn, which I know a lot of us use. And so here's the thing to know about LinkedIn. If you do not have a headshot, which happens to be the case for this individual who is a friend of mine, you're going to get less eyeballs on your page because your page is considered incomplete. So if you hate having your picture taken or you just haven't updated your profile, know that there is a good reason to do it. And that is so that you're making more connections. And as Steve said, it's getting people excited and curious about you and wanting to know what else is going on for you if you've updated your picture. Steve, do you use LinkedIn?
All the time.
Yeah. And what do you typically think about when you see a profile that doesn't have an image?
Yeah, well, probably that they're not really engaged in LinkedIn, that they tried it once and never came back to it. I know that there are people who do use it and don't have either a cover photo or a profile picture, and I'm sure that they're losing business because people just look like, oh, that's probably a dead account, so I'm just going to move on to the next person. Yeah.
I'm just looking quickly at these notes here. Okay, good. I want to see what people say. Yeah. Okay, great, good. Okay, so let me continue here. All right, so we're moving on to virtual presence. Let your essence shine. So I'm curious, we've got a group of professionals here, and I know that it's you're committed to getting out there and marketing. So I'm curious, when an opportunity comes up to be interviewed for an article, to be a part of a program, whatever it might be, I'm wondering, do you have to scramble for a good photograph of yourself? I can't tell you how often I get phone calls where someone says, oh my gosh, I need a headshot like in 24 hours. And that is all fine and good, but I also have people who are clients of mine who say to me, I am so grateful that I did a shoot with you because this incredible opportunity just came up for me to be a part of this team. And I have a whole collection of images that I can choose from to show whatever side of myself makes sense for the opportunity. And for those of you who cut yourself out of vacation photos or have selfies, those don't count.
Yeah, it's funny. We've got a lot of people in the chat are talking about a good profile pic on their BNI.com profile, and I see who was it that said that? Somebody, oh, Carlos said, I hate to say it, but I ignore BNI profiles without pictures. It's a lost referral.
Absolutely, right? Yeah, yeah. So I want to talk about Ashley, who's in this photograph, and she is incredibly vivacious. She is a television personality. She's a speaker, she's a coach, she does a number of things. And you would think that she would be easy to photograph. And beyond that, because she is easy to photograph, beyond that, you'd think it would be easy for her to get in front of the camera. No. She's comfortable in front of a television camera because she can move, she can talk, but when it comes to stills, it's a whole other ballgame. So this little note here in the top corner, she is from an email I got from her a couple of years ago. So it's 1 a.m. and my brain is going a mile a minute. Let's talk. She really wanted personal, authentic, heartfelt images. And she reached out to me because she knew that she could relax in front of the camera with me. And I would love to know, do you guys feel like you want to get to know her? I mean, do you feel like she's someone who is comfortable with herself and has a fun disposition? I really think that when you're able to work with a photographer who you trust and you feel like does a great job, it's easy to get stuff like this.
Yeah, these are great. They're all kind of different looks that she can use all over the place for different reasons. That's great.
Yeah. And so when you have a library of images in different locations, different outfits, doing different things, then you're ready for new opportunities and you'll want to find ways to use them. I mean, that's the beauty of having pictures you like. If you don't like them, you're not going to use them. All right. You get to choose your visual footprint. I really love that. So we're going to talk about virtual storytelling, show, don't tell. And this is really about you getting to control the story. You get to control the narrative. And I think it's really so much easier to look professional when you have photographs that are done well and show who you are, as opposed to ones that feel like you're a deer in headlights, right? So this is Toby. Toby is a copywriter and marketing guru, and she was really stepping it up with her business. She had never worked with a professional photographer before and really wanted a whole collection of images that she could use in her marketing, her new website, all of that. And, one of the things that I loved about what came out of our shoot was Toby is also, she has a motorcycle and she loves to ride it. So she brought her biker jacket with her. She brought a couple. And at first she wasn't going to do it, but now she has something to make a connection with her clients. She can show herself in this jacket and talk about one of the things that she loves to do and make a connection to that and somehow pull that into how she's able to draw out things about her clients and bring them into her writing.
So Sandra, on that note, there's a comment here by Yolanda that says, I'm here because as a family law attorney, I really don't know what would be appropriate. It does seem interesting for people in a profession like that, or a banker, to get, what do you, how far can you go in terms of what you're showing the public? That's not just a typical business suit.
So, part of it is what you feel comfortable with. So a family lawyer, I feel like if you wanted to show photographs of you with your family, what a lovely way to show your connection to the people in your life and who you're committed to. Sometimes what will happen is when people come to me, they will say, I'm a lawyer, but I love to cook. Is there a way that we can show professional images of you in a beautiful kitchen cooking, and you can talk about what ingredients it takes to put together a case for your clients. I mean, there's so many ways in which you can play off of things that make you unique and make you stand out. And you can use those analogies all the time.
Yeah, I will tell you, if I were hiring an attorney or going to a doctor and they were just in a business suit or a lab coat, depending, I think I might be more relaxed and more likely to choose someone who has got a more casual looking photo. Just to
Yeah.
kind of bring out a little bit of the humanity behind, the person that they are professionally.
Well, and part of what this is really about is making connections. And as BNI members, you know that when you have that initial time in your meeting, you get to connect with folks on a more personal level. And when you know something about someone, then it makes it much easier to tap into ways in which you can work together. So I think there's lots of avenues you can take for a personal branding shoot that feels like your own. And it doesn't mean that you have to do something so personal that it makes you uncomfortable. It can be done in a very professional way. So let's talk a little bit about product, because I think for a lot of people, product is an important way to show what you do. And I just pulled a few images. This is maybe not the best dish of lo mein, but I think that you can see the difference between the one on the left and the one on the right. The composition is so much nicer. The one on the right feels like you're getting dinner in someone's driveway. Composition, lighting, your environment, how you photograph things, presentation is everything. And you can take these photos with your phone. You really can. It's just about the setup. And I think with food in particular, like you've got to create a visually appealing situation, or no one is coming for, no one's coming to your place.
Yep.
All right, let's talk a little bit about real estate. So these are both the same room. This is the before and after. I don't know about you, but I love the house on the left, and I am definitely going to pay more for that situation than the one on the right. Professionally photographed homes bring in 47% higher asking prices, and you can see the difference right here.
Yeah, you can just see the way that the lighting is so blown out on the one on the right that you can't even tell that there's water and a blue sky out there.
Absolutely. And these are a couple of other examples. Now, I know that the one on the bottom has a coat of paint and some new furniture, but the one on the top is not that much different. It's been zhuzhed a little bit. You don't see a car in the window. Like it's taken very differently. The ones on the left are definitely more appealing.
Mm-hmm.
All right, so let's continue. Yeah, I really think, they say pictures are worth 1,000 words. There is a way for you to go and have a picture created of you, that says a lot about you in a really short amount of time. And the thing is that you really have less than 10 seconds to make an impression. Oh, why do I keep going backwards? Hold on. All right. Great. Okay. So I want to tell you a little bit about Leslie, who's in this photograph, but I also want to say that when you have images that are quality images, whether it's taken by a professional or not, you get people ready to know what to expect when they're working with you. Because like I said, less than 10 seconds, people are going to see you and they're going to have a quick impression of who you are and what you do. Now, Leslie is a perfect example. She hates having her photograph taken. She is an interior designer. She has a beautiful shop here on Cape Cod. But the thing about Leslie is despite her discomfort with photos. She knows it's really important for her to be a part of her brand. And I'm going to show you some images that we shot in her shop so that she can really talk about the quality of the products that she offers to her clients, the quality of the service that she puts out there, and you get to know her a little bit. So here's a picture of Leslie in her shop with some of her goods. You know, we talked about what she should wear for the shoot. Like, everything is thought out in terms of the details, because when you are on brand, people notice, and it makes a difference in terms of one, getting more eyeballs on you, and two, what people think of you. All right. I love this. It's your time and you're ready for the next step. And that includes your photographs. So let's talk very quickly about tips for creating great photos. Always shoot in natural light. You know, people often say to me, I take pictures with my phone and they don't look very good, and they wonder why. The first tip is look for a window. If you see me right now and I turn this way, you see this beautiful natural light coming into my studio. I actually have a big white board next to me to reflect even more on me, so it gives me great light. All you need is a window and a white poster board, and you can reflect all kinds of light either onto your product or onto yourself. Second, create a beautiful environment. Before I started this call, I made sure that what was behind me made sense. Do that for yourself as well. Even if you're doing a selfie, don't do it in the bathroom, right?
A good rule of thumb.
Yeah. And then the third piece of advice is, if you can, hire a professional photographer that you know, like, and trust. Because when you trust them, it's going to be a lot more comfortable. They're going to be able to walk you through this. And if you don't have that budget, then look for a photo student. I bet there's someone either in high school or college nearby who's looking to build their portfolio. See if you can find someone who can do that for you. I really think that having good quality images makes or breaks how people interact with you and the impression that they get right out of the gate. So putting your best foot forward allows you to make an impression and get people interested in you. All right, so we're going to do a quick recap of what we talked about. All right, so the know, like, and trust factor: be current, make connections. And those connections, while you're making them in person, also know when you have a great headshot, it's making a connection when you're not there. Second, findability. Like I said to you, the web is cluttered. So quality, authentic images really make quite an impression and bring you further. Virtual presence. Well, what does that mean? That means, like, have a collection of images. Again, even if you have someone take them with your iPhone, put it in portrait mode, get into some good light, make sure your clothes are pressed and lint-free, and go for it. Fourth, virtual storytelling. Control the narrative. Be the one who is getting the story going, and then you can really get your message out there in the most authentic way. And then the last thing is credibility and quality. I think we all know when either we don't see a photograph or we see a bad photograph, that leaves an impression on us. So keep that in mind when you are putting yourself out there. Okay, I'm going to finish up here. Thank you. Thank you for being a part of today. I so appreciated connecting with you. I'm looking forward to going into the chats and answer a few questions. But if you would like to get these tips at your fingertips, I have created a PDF. I'm going to put a link in the chat, and you can go to a page on my website and put your email in, and you will get a copy of that PDF, just as a way for you to think a little bit about some of the things that we talked about today. All right, Steve, do you have any questions?
Yeah, we have a few questions. Well, there's a little bit of a, I'm going to call it a debate, but going on in the chat before we go into the Q&A about selfies. And it seems like there's a time and a place for a selfie. Like, of course, if
Yes.
you're on social media, why not take lots of selfies and put it out there in different candid, shots or something that's a little bit more posed to how depending on what you want to do. But for your website, I would never, and I'm sure you're going to agree with me on this one, I would never put a selfie as my main photo on my website.
I do agree with you. I think it's really hard to, unless you're really good, and I have some friends who are really good. I think it's really hard to get a selfie that conveys your personality, your essence, what you do. Like, I think it's really difficult to take a selfie of yourself laughing if that's who you are. Like, you really need someone on the other side of the camera who is going to direct you, who's going to put you in the right light, use the right lens, help you figure out what to wear. Like, all of that is really good prep. And I think a selfie just kind of misses the mark. But social media, talking about being at an event, showing where you are, a project that you're working on, yes, absolutely. Selfies are a great way to keep you top of mind and show that you're in the mix.
Great. All right. So let's look at some of these questions. Do you work in video at all? And which is more powerful marketing asset, photo or video?
I would say that both, actually. I do not do video, but I have hired photographers in the past to do video for myself or my clients. And I think video has come a long way. People have such a short attention span that they often want to link onto a video to get the information quickly. So I would say both are fantastic. But, as a still photographer, I think it's key to have someone who is able to capture you and your essence so that will show up over and over again, but to complement that with a great personality-driven video.
Right. Maggie is clearly talking about me. Many photos show a person much younger than they are. Is that okay, or should they be taken at your current age?
My personal opinion is that you should keep your headshot updated. I think that sometimes people start to get a little self-conscious about getting older, and they don't always want to show photos of themselves. And I totally get that, especially after COVID. I mean, who hasn't aged like a million years just in the last 3? But I think if you want to make true, authentic connections, I think it's important to have updated headshots.
Yeah, absolutely. All right, let's see. I think we are out of questions unless there was something in the chat that I missed. Let's see. No.
I love seeing other photographers on here.
Yeah, people are definitely interested in that link that you're providing.
Okay, let me grab that. I'm gonna just let's see. Let me pause my share for a moment.
Okay.
And let me see. Actually, I think I need to stop it, so that's okay. Let me grab the link, and I'm going to put it in the chat right now.
Great. While Sandra's doing that, I will say, hey, everyone, join us next week. We have Andrew Peterson back for his for part 3 of our AI series. And this one next week is going to be all about AI images. Now, we did ChatGPT and all that stuff, but this is all going to be about creating images, since we're talking about images today. These are not headshots, of course, but these might be something that you might make for an ad or something like that that you can put together with AI. And Andrew is going to kind of take you through all of that stuff and show you how that works. It should be a lot of fun, so don't miss that. And now we're back to Sandra.
I see in the chat, Jean Claude asked, how do you get the person to relax in 1 hour for a shoot? You know what? I don't think all photographers are able to do that. And I'm not dissing anyone. I think it can be challenging. One way to make that happen is to make a connection once or twice before the shoot so that they get used to you. You ask questions. I like to ask things like, what's important to you? What do you want your clients to know about you? Tell me 3 words that best describe who you are. And if you don't know how to answer that, have someone else answer it for you and bring that into the consultation. I like to joke with my clients. I'm a terrible joke teller, but I have found ways over the years to put people at ease. And I think some of that is because I really love working with people. And if you're someone who struggles being in front of the camera, then I would suggest doing a little homework and really looking for a photographer that you like and you feel comfortable with. Not all photographers are the same. And, you know, I think that there are ways to be at ease, but it has to be with the right person.
And so, Sandra, when you meet with someone and do a consultation before the shoot, do you talk to them about like what clothes to bring or any props or things like that?
Yeah. So folks who do a personal branding shoot with me, I send a questionnaire and we talk about clothing, we talk about props, we talk about hair and makeup. I actually have a makeup artist for all of my shoots, headshots, branding, you name it. Even some of the personal stuff that you see behind me. And I think that whenever you're willing and able to walk people through the whole process and talk them through their anxieties, their goals for the shoot, and you know as much as possible, then it's a win-win. I will often go to my client's home or do a Zoom call before the shoot and walk them through every aspect of it so that they know what to wear, they know what to expect, we know what location we're going to be at. So when they show up, they just have to be themselves.
Yeah, great. All right.
Yeah.
Well, it sounds like fun if you are in the Massachusetts area and want to get in touch with Sandra. Sandra, your email is?
My email is sandra@sandralovesyou.com.
Yeah.
And the best way to find me is on my website at sandralovesyou.com.
All right, excellent. So thank you so much for being on today and everybody for joining us. This was a kind of a fun one to do, and I'm glad that we got to connect and talk about that. So everyone give yourselves a CEU for being on today, and we will see you all next time. Sandra, before we go, any final words?
No, I think I just want to say, I see someone asking, how often should you do it? Well, if you want to do it every year, kudos to you. But I think every 2 to 3 years is a good amount of time, especially if you're a realtor and you want to keep up to date. Don't be afraid. Find the right person to work with. And if you're not able to work with a professional, work with a friend that you feel comfortable with, and put yourself in a nice setting. Wear clothes that look professional but are, match your personality, and just give it a try and see how people respond. I find people come to me over and over again because they enjoy the process just as much as their final images.
Nice.
Tracy's asking for the link. You know what, Tracy? I'm gonna put my website in there, and I would suggest if you go there and you want the link for the PDF, go under resources and you'll see something called Why You Need More Than a Headshot.